Previously on the Completely Mind Blown by God podcast, the Campus Chronicles series. Despite being denied a promised scholarship due to outstanding balances, I refused to let frustration define my path. Through prayer and trust in God's guidance, I found strength to endure, realizing the importance of recognizing life's different seasons and embracing God's timing. Join me as we continue on this journey of faith.
Hey there, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another exciting episode on the Completely Mind Blown by God podcast. And I hope you guys are in for a treat this week because I have another special episode ready and waiting for you. But before we jump right in, if you haven't already done so, I would love for each and every one of you who are listening right now to just head over to my YouTube channel and like, subscribe, and share to your family members, friends, anybody, and everybody, just spread the news and share the excitement. Yes. So, thank you so much for doing that, because I know you guys are going to do it. Share, like, subscribe. The link to my YouTube channel is beneath this video, so just hit that link. So last week, I shared with you guys about the scholarship and the big twist. But God always have a plan, Every disappointment is for a much bigger appointment. Let me tell you that. Yeah, you just got to keep listening because it gets better, a lot better. I'm telling you. This week, I'm going to talk about the importance of waiting on the Lord, trusting and waiting on the Lord, being silent, and listening. Because that is what I had to do. As I shared last week, I kept doing stuff and it kept blowing up in my face. Like every time I tried to fix it, to get this scholarship, things were just not working my direction. It's like a door is always slammed in my face. Yeah, and they were discouraging me to just quit school, like stop coming altogether. One such person told me that it makes no sense to continue coming to school, so I just should not come back to classes. And I made up my mind. The pressure is hard, but I know that God wants me to be there. And if He wants me to be there, then this is not the end of my story. This is not the end of the road. You understand? I'm not just going to quit when God have bigger plans. I'm going to tell you, the plans were indeed mega. You understand? But continue listening so you can hear the mega. I kept going to my classes and I reached a point where I just had to seek the presence of God to maintain myself mentally. Oh my God, if I was not in the presence of the Lord, I think more than make it. You understand? Because the pressure that was on my mind, everything that I tried just failed. And it would have me to think that God is not with me anymore, but that was not the case. What He wanted me to do is to wait and listen. Wait and listen and trust Him because He has a plan. He has a plan. And so after a few months, like 2-3 months, I think, then they were still insisting that I stop coming to classes and stuff, but I kept coming. They still refused me to get a practice room. I couldn't collect a key. To get a practice room. I would have to send one of my friends to use their ID to go for a key for me or something. Because even though I had my ID, they said I could not get a key for a practice room. I could not practice, I could not rehearse, I couldn't have access to any of the school. I wouldn't have access to any of the school's instruments or facilities or anything like that. I would not have access. And if I wanted access, I would have to let a friend of mine or someone from my band to book the room, get the stuff, so I could rehearse. That's how I had to do it. And I kept going to school, and I just spent time in the presence. I prayed, I sing, I remained in the presence of the Lord. And the songs that I played were songs of victories to confirm that, hey, at the end of this, I'm gonna win. We always win. You know, the devil is a liar, we always win. I'm always playing songs that affirms that he is a faithful God. He will come through for me. God will work it out. You know, songs that would encourage me and allow me to remember that God is still a faithful God. I had to be in the Word. I had to be praying and declaring scriptures during that season. And if I was not doing that, I would not have gone far. I would have just given up. I would have lost it, probably mentally. I would have lost it. Trust me, the pressure was so much. I would have constant breakdowns, and God is just so good, because when I would have those breakdowns, like for instance, when I'm in one of my performance classes and I'm performing, right? The thing is, I am not where I started, okay? When I started, as I shared in one of the first episodes of this series, my hands were trembling violently. My voice was cracking. At that time, right, the shaking of my hands was not so much. It was still shaking, but not so much that it was visible to others. And my voice wasn't cracking as much either. I grew in confidence, and I grew in my talent as well. You understand? But I guess because of all that was happening at the time, I couldn't see that, hey, you may not be where you want to be, but you're also not where you used to be. You understand? And I would be so judgmental. I would pressure myself so much to the point where I would have breakdowns, because I'm so hard on myself that when I'm not getting it right, I just, get it right. What is wrong with you? Understand? I was just so hard on myself, and I would have the breakdowns, and that didn't help. But as I said, the presence of the Lord, whenever I had those breakdowns, there was always a friend to encourage me. There was always someone there who I could cry and cheer, and they would help me in return. I've had so much good friends. Like, they were there for me. You understand? In those moments, they were understanding, they were lenient, they helped me. You understand? And they didn't judge me because of where I was compared to them or compared to others. They were there, and they would encourage me and say, hey, I struggle with this too. You understand? But you will get over this. You will grow. You have grown so much. I'm so proud of you. And they will give me words of encouragement. So even though I was going through a lot, God still sent persons in those times. They would see me and say, hey, Naomi, you don't look your best. What's going on? Are you okay? Do you need a moment to cry? Do you need somebody to talk to? They were there. Trust me, they were there. They're like my little family. You know what? I love them so, so much, and I cherish them so much. And I'm just gonna encourage you guys to wait and trust on the Lord. And when you wait and trust on the Lord, you will begin to get direction. You will begin to get answers. Because if I wasn't there, being silent and waiting on the Lord, because there comes a time where you have to stop going to God with your problems. Yeah, you have to stop, go to God and say, God, me not like this. There's a season for everything. You have to stop, go to God and complain and say, all right, God, me not like this. Me a vent, me a this, me a whatever. You have to stop. There has to be a point when you stop and you just go into His presence. And the goal is not for you to let out what's on your heart, but the goal is just to worship Him for who He is. And when you do that and you add silence into the mix, as in you worship and then you have a moment where you just sit and you just listen, you will get direction, because that is how I got direction. I was in a quiet time with the Lord, and I was in a quiet time with the Lord, right? And I was praying and asking him to lead me or show me the way, guide me, what to do, what I'm supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, without faith, it's impossible to please God, and faith is an action word. So there must be something for me to do eventually. You understand? And after that, I went to one of those rehearsals where I asked one of my friends to get the key, you know, and they were explaining to me, because I'm supposed to do a show. I'm supposed to do a show because I'm in my third year and that would be my exam. And they didn't want me to do a show, so they didn't want to give the keys to me to rehearse for this show and all of that. So you know how the thing's set. So one of my band musician, right, came to me and asked how is progress, how the school fees, what are we gonna do? Are we just rehearsing? What's the update? And I'm sharing that I've got no update. They still don't want me to practice. They still don't want me to prepare for the show, but I'm still doing it. I'm still going to the teacher, showing them my progress and stuff, and having faith that God will work it out. And he said to me, why don't you go to such and such person, right, about the situation? I thought about it and I said, that's a good idea. I haven't gone to this person in a while. Now, this person was the one who helped me when I just started college. I could go to school without no problems, I haven't seen her in a while, I haven't heard from her. Probably I can't really go, right? But before I went in my prayer closets, because I didn't want any more closed doors in my face. Yes, so I went in my prayer closet because I just wanted to do the will of the Lord. I wanted the Lord's direction. So not because he suggested it doesn't mean that's the way God wanted me to do it. So I didn't just act on it. I went and I prayed about it and I asked God. I prayed about it for, I think, about 3 weeks. And it just kept coming to me to go to the person. I'm going to say, all right. I think it was a Thursday. I said, okay. Lord, I don't want to just go up to her office, because first of all, if I just go up to the registry and ask for her, I can't go to her because I would have to have a scheduled meeting or something. They're going to ask, who is it? Because I can't just approach this person. So I whispered that prayer. I said, God, if you want me to meet with her, please make she come down to music school today. Make she come over music school, and someone can just go to her and talk to her. I kid you not, guys. Exactly what I prayed, that is what God did. I went to school, and as I reached a school, so as she that me see her come out of one room, I'm say, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. And me say, I explained every single thing that was going on. Every single thing that was going on. Every little detail, and she was so upset. So upset, and she said, schedule a meeting with me I don't remember the exact day, but just like that, guys, God turned it around and caused me to obtain favor. So my encouragement to you guys is to trust God, wait on him, and spend time. Spend time in his presence. Wait on the Lord, pray, and be still. Be still and know that he is God. Be still. Don't just go in his presence just to vent. Yes, him say you have to cast the cares upon the Lord, but you can't always go in a God presence for just cast the cares though. You can't do that. You can't do that. You have to go into the presence of the Lord to worship him for who he is, to pray and to listen, because sometimes he wants to speak to you and you're not listening. You're just doing your own thing and let life be life. so much that you're not hearing the voice of the Lord, and every time you go there, so you mess up because you're not listening or hearing his voice. He wants you to be still. So prioritize listening. Prioritize being still in his presence, and pray. Pray for direction. All right, my beautiful souls, it's time to say goodbye for now. But before you head off, I want to extend a big thank you for sticking around with me until the end. And as a token of appreciation, I've put together a special self-reflection activity just for you. Click the link in the description to dive into some soul-searching goodness. And hey, if you're curious about my personal insights and reflections on today's topic, swing by my website where I've shared some exclusive thoughts in the show notes. Don't forget, you can always stay in the loop by subscribing to the podcast and spreading the love by sharing this episode with your friends and family. Until next time, love you guys.